Chad Conine, Waco Tribune Herald. Kalani, obviously you and Megan are Lisa Leslie Award finalists. A lot's going to be made of that matchup. Is it overhyped, or is it, important as all the hype is going to make it out to be?
I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest. It's just going to be two great post players playing their game.
Any more questions? Okay, right here in the fourth row.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Chloe, your first time this deep in the tournament. What's this experience been like? And how does it feel to be this close to your first Final Four?
It feels great. It's a blessing to be here, and just trying to go out and play the hardest we can, and hopefully we get to a Final Four, which would be amazing.
Over here again on the third row.
Dee, I think the first time I heard you guys mention Tampa specifically this season was during the Big 12 championship celebration there at the Farrell Center. Now that you're one game away, what's the mood of the team like being on the cusp of that?
I think we're excited. We're ready to get there. So the quicker we get there, the better. I'm trying to get the game started, get the win, and get to Tampa.
Any more questions? Okay, again on the fourth row on the left.
Lauren, they have another pretty good post player inside, or another good inside player. Can you just talk about the matchup, and could you be on Gustafson some as well?
Yeah, I think it's going to take both of us to stop her. She's a good post player. They have a good duo inside with Stewart and her. They run kind of some of the same stuff we do with the lob plays and kind of like our main offense look. We call it Baylor, but just like that high-low passing. So I think it'll be a good matchup.
Over here on the left on the fourth row.
David Smoke, ESPN Central Texas. Let's start with Kalani, if you don't mind, to Chloe as well, or either. What's it like the day before the long wait? Is that the hardest part? You mentioned the waiting until throughout the day and then tomorrow. And how do you handle the downtime?
Yeah, waiting is the hardest part because you're so anxious to get out there and you're so anxious to play. But, we just do what we normally do in a normal routine. It's best not to change anything.
Chloe?
I would say I'm pretty relaxed. Just kind of rest your legs all day. Just get mentally prepared. Never think too hard on it. And just kind of wait around for game time.
Over here on the right on the fourth row.
Kalani, can you talk about some of the challenges you anticipate going up against Megan?
Well, with my lack of mobility, maybe her trying to get around me will be the biggest issue. I'm just going to try to move my feet and stay with her. I mean, we're both lefties, so we'll see.
Again on the fourth row on the left.
Juicy, I remember one time during the game, I think Kim said something to you about be aggressive. Do you need to come out and, maybe try to come out firing, I guess?
Definitely. I think I definitely do need to come out and be more aggressive. But when she pulls me to the sideline and tells me to be more aggressive, that's my motivation from her.
One last time, any more questions over here on the left on the first row?
Bruce Keating with Baylor Radio. Ladies, can one or two of you talk a little bit about the style of play that you expect from Iowa, how that may be a little bit different from what you saw yesterday?
I think they're going to shoot a lot more threes than South Carolina did. I think South Carolina is more quicker than they are. They like to get out in transition, and not to say that Iowa won't get out in transition, but I think they're going to try to shoot a lot more threes and establish their post presence
They're going to try and get to their high-low game. I know their posts are a vital asset to their offense, so I don't think they're going to try and change anything as far as that goes.
Thanks, Kalani. Anyone else?
You've mentioned how unfiltered Coach Melky is, and you obviously sometimes are as well. Can you try to explain the team and how they fight and play for her because of how she fights and plays for you?
I kind of feel like if you have a coach that you know that has your back, you're going to have her back no matter what. And I feel like our team and our chemistry is something that, you know, is shown because of how much we have each other's back, I guess.
Over here on the left, about the sixth row.
Travis Sloan, Women's Hoops World. Dee obviously went off big time yesterday. Just curious, which one of y'all is going to go off big tomorrow? Who's feeling it?
Who is the question for?
Whichever one thinks they're going to have the hot hand.
All five of us.
All big time. Come on.
Period. Man, our bench.
Kalani, do you want to answer?
Oh, I said everybody. I said all five going to try to have a high hand.
I think that's what sets us apart from some people. You never know who's going to go off. People play off of her because they don't think that she has an offensive game, but I mean, she proved that last night. She had 25 points, a new career high, so it can be any one of us.
Any more questions? Over here on the fourth row, again on the left.
For Kalani and Lauren, I don't believe either one of y'all have fouled out this year. How big is that, and how key is that to keep you guys on the floor, and how much of that plays into the freshmen being able to spell y'all some?
Kalani, you want to take that first?
Sure. It does play a key role. You know, we just have to play smart, keep our hands straight up, and not foul. You know, with our size, we can alter a lot of shots, so us being on the floor is very important.
Lauren?
I agree with Kalani, and like you said, with the freshmen coming in, they can come in and relieve us when we get tired, and they don't miss a beat when they come in.
Right here in the third row on the left.
Chad Conine, Waco Tribune Herald. Kim, I'm sure there will be a lot made of the Kalani Megan Gustafson matchup, them both being Lisa Leslie Award finalists. Is that overhyped, or is that a pretty critical part of the game tomorrow?
I don't know why it's overhyped or even a discussion. She's a National Player of the Year. We got our hands full.
Over there on the fourth row.
Jerry Hill, Baylor Bear Insider. Kim, just the matchup itself, what do you see, and as far as style of play for Iowa, what do you see from them?
I see that everything they do offensively goes through Gustafson, and she is a tremendous player. And if you try to double her or go down there and help, she has perimeter players that shoot the three ball that you can't leave them open. While she's the best player in the country, according to ESPN, she isn't doing it by herself. She has plenty of help around her.
Over here on the left on the seventh row.
Travis London, Women's Hoops World. Coach, you just mentioned their perimeter players. Is there a matchup in particular outside the paint that you are keying on, or that you really want to emphasize winning that battle defensively?
No, they're too good. They're too good, too balanced to focus on one particular player. I think it's the same way with Gustafson. You know, everybody talks about her, but that team is not a one-person show, and they all play well together. They complement each other well. So there's not just one. If you stop this one, you're going to win the ball game. They're too good.
Again on the left.
Coach Jeff Linder, Cedar Rapids Gazette. You played Iowa in the Sweet 16 4 years ago, handled them pretty easily. Is this a better team that you're facing tomorrow?
Man, I can't remember yesterday. Now, how are you going to get me to remember 4 years ago? I can't remember that. I can't remember my team from 4 years ago.
Over here on the right.
Yeah, Coach David Newton with ESPN.com. Kalani almost seems like tongue-in-cheek when she talks about her lack of mobility. How has she improved in that over the years?
Well, tell me who you with. Where are you from?
Excuse me?
Identify yourself.
David Newton, ESPN.com.
Well, David, you wrote that she plays small at times, I think. So she hasn't shrunk. She's still 6'7". I don't know what you mean by mobility. She's not a perimeter player. Gustafson's not a perimeter player. Kalani had to guard Anigwe, who averaged a double-double for Cal, who was on pace to have tons of double-doubles. So that kid's pretty athletic. Kalani guarded her. So I'm not sure where this mobility problem people keep bringing up comes from. Foul line to foul line are where basketball games are won, and Kalani Brown at her size can run foul line to foul line, in my opinion, as well as any big girl in the game. So I don't know about mobility. Maybe, my idea of not being very mobile is different than your description of it, but I don't see where that kid has a mobility problem. She shoots the perimeter shot as well as any big girl I've ever coached. She doesn't have to do it much, but she can shoot the perimeter shot, so she's not limited to just go plop on the block and wait for an offensive board and put back. So I don't know. I've read that. I'm sure she's read that. Maybe that comes from her freshman year or something, maybe when we played Oregon State and she had to go way out and guard three-point shooters where they had post players that shot the three. Maybe that's where that's coming from. I really don't know. All I know is the kid's a special player, and she's got her hands full tomorrow against what is y'all's opinion, the best player in the country. And she's pretty good. Averages a lot of points, a lot of rebounds. I just don't want Kalani to have nightmares all night.
The fourth row on the left.
Kim, I remember at one point during the game, I don't remember if you pulled her to the side or if you actually just said it to her when she was out there, but you said something to Juicy about being aggressive. Do you need her to maybe come out firing or, be more aggressive with her shot?
No, Juicy's, coming into this regional, Juicy's our leading scorer. I need Juicy just to be Juicy. Sometimes Juicy gets a little passive and quiet. Instead of shooting the ball, she'll pass it, or instead of getting up in somebody defensively, sometimes she'll ball watch. That's all. She's been really, really tremendous for us this year.
Any more questions for Coach? On the left, on the fourth row. Third.
Kim, do you have any kind of gauge on your team's attitude and mood today on the cusp of such a big game tomorrow night?
I thought breakfast, I thought our morning devotion, today's Sunday, and we always do a morning devotion, was the same. I thought the film room was the same, and, they're just happy kids. They're happy people. They just talk, chatty, watch the film, listen to a scouting report. I didn't anticipate, I just, same old bunch.
Again on the fifth row on the left.
Coach, I think this is your 8th trip to the Elite Eight in the last 10 years. Iowa hasn't been to this level since '93. Is that an advantage?
No. I'm not going to pass, dribble, or shoot. Those kids have to go out there on the floor, and they have to do it, and it's exciting time for all those kids on both teams. And it should be.
The second row on the left here.
Tyler Bolden, KWTX. Coach, is there any point in the tournament where you're watching other games and trying to figure out if you can take something from any other team and implement it into your game plan?
Not really. Each team has its own identity. To change something this late date, I don't think would be wise. You might see maybe a tendency of a team you're going to play that you may not have recognized on film that they're now doing, and you might want to take that away defensively, or you might see a quick hitter or an inbounds or something, but pretty much everybody's identities are established at this point. I have always believed that if you try to change late in the game, you're making a team do something that is not who they are. So I don't, when I watch film of other teams, I don't sit there and go, gosh, we need to change and do that. So no.
Again on the fourth row.
Kim, when you have a late game the next day, because you played early yesterday, and then you don't play late tomorrow, is this day hard, or how do you keep it routine when you have such a long day just to wait?
I don't think this day is hard. Tomorrow may be harder because you're waiting and waiting and waiting, but I don't think today is hard. Today is needed to rest your bodies, to do some more film work. Tomorrow, just sitting around waiting all day could be a little bit more difficult.